Hi, Maria. Hello, hello again.
Hi,
Thank you for
Maya.
being here present and coming to tell us a little bit about your experience with our training program on family constellations. And well, we are very happy that you are willing to share your experience. So welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. It's really good to see you again, and it's good to also share part of my process so that others who may be interested in family constellations, learning or facilitating, they can see how that goes.
Beautiful. Okay, so let's begin. I know you are into the holistic field, therapist, and you do also coaching, and you are also a healer. And so, when you heard about family constellations, what caught your attention? What was that thing that you say, "Oh, I want to know what that is"?
Yeah, definitely. So in the way that I've been training for different ways of healing, ancestral healing with plants, with ritual, with shamanism, psychotherapy, I I've sought to understand the body and the human person, the human being, from its different dimensions, from the physical being, emotional, energetic, mental. And so when I hear and when I've been hearing about family constellations, there was always something about it that seemed important. It seemed important to look into the family dynamics. It seemed important to look into maybe where we come from, and I didn't really have a clear understanding of what a family constellation actually was. I had actually never been constellated or been to a session or done a session with anyone, but I just knew that it was something that I needed to look into. And it also felt important for my own process, because it's a lot of the work that I've done in my own path of learning how to be a healer is also healing myself, healing my own relations, my own family, my own relations with my family members. So,
Beautiful. So, what did you find for yourself in within that program?
yeah, so the program was very interesting because I also thought that it was important for other family members of mine, like my mother, to join. And initially, there was a little bit of anxiety or fear around that, like, wow, we're gonna go through a very intense process of healing together, and I don't know if we're both ready. I think we're ready. I think I'm ready. I think she's ready.
Mhm.
But we embarked on the journey together, and it was challenging. It definitely was challenging for my own personal work that I needed to look at. But it was beyond challenging. I think it was more beautiful and transformative than it was difficult, even though there was difficulty. And it's not always easy to look at the ways that we've been behaving, the ways that we have created patterns with our family members, the way those patterns affect us, even our ancestral lineage and the history, how that all combines to create our daily interactions with our family.
Mhm.
So personally, it's been very transformative for my relationship with my mother to go through the training, some parts of it with her, and to really reassess and change the way that we talk with each other, that we understand each other, the way that I see my family, the way that I see the influence of my family over me. It's been very, very powerful to see that.
Beautiful. Yes, one of the first works that we must do is the relationship with healing the relationship with our mother. Sometimes we leave that aside because it probably is painful or still hurts, or everyone is in a different position. And it is easier to recreate different relationships with others once you heal that relationship with mom, because the first relationship we have in life is with our mother. And if that relationship is not healed, then it will be affecting the way we relate with others and with things in life in general. So I think you took the first and right step into this program because with your mother, and yes, it was challenging, I guess, for both of you. But I'm so glad that you got to get your part, because as we do in constellations, is about I'm taking responsibility for my part, and I'm leaving you with your part, because each of us has a part to heal. And sometimes we as healers pretend or want to heal our mom, or our relationship with mom, but we don't know that we also have a part to heal within first, in
Mm-hmm.
order to communicate differently and to relate differently with them, and that they also had a destiny. Sometimes we don't see their destiny, how difficult it was, so we cannot really connect. And when we get to see our parents' destiny, it's easier for us to say, oh, but that was their story, and that's why I'm living this story with my mom. And
Mm-hmm.
it gives you a lot of compassion and understanding to begin. And as I always say, the mother is usually a process, because you
Mm-hmm.
don't hear mom in one day or in one constellation, but it's a process that, as you were sharing with me before, you create this order on how you communicate, and this is my place and that's your place, and creating those limiting, like the safe, healthy boundaries, and all of it, whatever it is that is necessary to improve that relationship. And so
Mm-hmm.
I guess at the end, what you can say is that, or what you have shared before, is that you have created this order, and that your communication is doing better with her.
Yeah, yeah, our relationship has definitely evolved for the better. And, I've been doing that work of working on healing the relationship with my mother for a very long time, with different ways, with working with shamanism, with plant medicines, with ceremonies, and there are just certain things that I wasn't aware of. What you mentioned is really important, like being sensitive to her own story and her own lineage and what she's carrying and the burdens that she's carrying also helps me become more compassionate and helps me be more understanding of where she's at.
Mhm.
So right now our relationship is pretty good. We've been able to heal certain patterns that were unspoken, and we would speak from our wound. We would speak from our pain. And now that some of those difficult topics have been exposed, that have been talked about, it's easier to have clearer limits, to be compassionate, to see and understand each other. I feel that's really important. I feel like she understands me better and I understand her better. And maybe sometimes we don't agree, but it's easier to have these conversations now.
Beautiful. That is work that was done then. Congratulations, Maria.
Yeah, yeah. And as
Yeah.
I've mentioned before, it's a process of continuing to do that work, of nurturing that work, remembering what we've done in the constellation,
Yes.
and continuing to do it all the time.
Yes, you plant the seed in the constellation work, but then you have to nurture the order that you created within and also outside. So, but the beauty of it is that at least you get to identify where the origin of the conflict, and understand why it happens, and then create that systemic order, which we do with the principles of family constellations. And once we get to do that, then we get to plant the seed of love, that we can relate with others from that new place, right? Because it's not about changing for others, but changing for myself, so I can relate with others from that new place.
Mhm. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the program. What can you tell us or share about the program itself?
So the program, what would I like to share? I think the more important part for me to go through the program initially was to reassess and reevaluate those personal relationships with my mother, with my father, with my siblings, which was also surprising. I rarely consider that those relations impact who I am today and how I relate with the world, with my work, with my other relations. But then it was a good reminder to consider, all of these relationships matter, and it's important to look at them.
Yeah.
And so I would say, on a personal level, I felt like it was a really good opportunity for me to really heal a lot of my own family relationships for myself, you know, within the way that I see my relationships and how I relate to these members of my family. I really loved the fact that you did it online and in person. That to me was really interesting because I wanted to be able to also do this online, right? I travel a lot. I go to different countries, different cities. I teach in different places. So it was important for me to know that I could do this without being fully present with a person. So the fact that you offer that opportunity to me was very valuable. And that it's the same. It works the same exact way. If I'm at your house or if I'm in Colombia, it still feels powerful. It's still, the work is still done. Especially as a student, a lot of the theory parts that you give us, um, it's very important information that I think I've maybe touched on before, but hadn't fully developed, like
Mhm.
the wounds, the topic on the wounds of the soul. I understood them and I was somewhat aware of them, but we really dove deep into those wounds and we
Mhm.
really understood them and found out how are they showing up in our lives? How do they show up physically? How do they show up energetically? How do they show up in the relationships? That
Mm.
to me was powerful.
Beautiful. And what was your favorite module?
Um, so different modules. Now that I'm remembering the modules on the soul wounds, that to me was really, I looked forward to that module on the wounds for a long time. When you first told us we were going to look into that, I
Mhm.
kept waiting and waiting.
When is
Um,
it gonna come? When is it gonna
yeah.
come?
And the first modules were also, to me, probably some of the more interesting ones, learning about the history of humanity. Um, as an anthropologist, that to me feels very important to understand where we come from and to know that our lineage and our ancestors, they don't end in our grandparents. We go all the way back to primates and how we've evolved to develop language and how our facial structure, our cranial structure has shifted to accommodate a larger brain, and our mouth has shifted, and all of these things. So we talked about that. We talked about where we come from, like way back there, cosmically, energetically, and so that to me was important. And then also the somatic piece, because I do a lot of work somatically as a massage therapy and educator. I That's the realm that I work in, working with the body. How do things manifest? How does disease show up? What do different pains mean? What do different habits mean for a person? How do they show up, and what are they trying to tell us energetically about this person that could help them heal or evolve or transform for the better?
Mhm. Yes, so I'm glad that you are bringing these two elements that you learned in the program because, yes, cosmology is an important part. It's not about just my little system, family system that I need to heal, but where things started. And then we can really see that there is a behind the scenes that we must understand in order to know what you're doing here, what is your part in that plan of evolution, and then what is your part of why did I have to go through this suffering and pain in order to do what, to heal what, not only me or my system but the system of life. And
Mm-hmm.
when you get to understand that plan, then it gives you a motivation to say, oh, okay, I get to understand that I live this because I'm going towards this new direction that can help us all. So that's the beauty of it. And also, yes, it's important to understand that conditions and disease and anything that is showing in the body is just replicating for from emotions that haven't been healed or seen.
Mm-hmm.
That is what is creating this disease in the body. And that if we get to the root, then we really get to transform it somehow. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
beautiful. I'm so glad that you, as a therapist and healer, decided to take this tool, because it's a new tool to add to what you're given. That's your service to others, and this could be serving others as well. So I am always happy to hear and to have all coaches and healers and therapists and psychologists and whatever it is that you do, that you are serving others to evolve or transcend those unresolved memories that create these sort of misaligned emotions and mental limitations to go somewhere else, to a better place,
Mm-hmm.
I would say. And so
Mm-hmm.
I'm very thankful for that, as well as I'm thankful for anybody who maybe is not thinking to go into the direction of serving, serving others through the holistic field, but that you're going to do your own process, because you get to experience your own process throughout the whole program. And at the end, most of them or most of you decide to, I'm going to do this for others. Not all of you, but most of you. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really important. You know, when I first did my first yoga training, I just wanted to learn how to do things for myself. I wasn't considering to be a educator or a teacher, or never to really wanted to stand up in front of a classroom guiding anyone onto anything. I just wanted to learn things so that I wouldn't hurt myself doing these poses, and so that I could do it anytime at my house.
Mhm.
So when I wanted to do this family constellations, initially there was also that call, like, am I looking to be a facilitator of this? Well, at this stage of my life, yeah, I can see myself offering this, but there was a very heavy component of, I actually want to do my own work to heal my own family system, to really dive deep and take the journey over the course of several months to examine that, not just through my own experience, because obviously through the course of the 8 months, I'm not looking at my own story, but we're all sharing all together, everyone in the group. We're constellating different people, different weekends, and in everyone's story, I can relate, even just if a little bit or a lot. Something that is happening in that student's life speaks to me, and I can see the effect in my own life. So that makes me self reflect about my own family system, even though we're not even talking about my own family, right? That to
Mhm.
me, I feel is very valuable. The process of sharing with all the other students, the process of helping each other out, and so we're all helping each other out, facilitating, being facilitated, being students, being coaches. And, towards the end of it, 8 months go by and it's like, well, am I ready? Maybe. Maybe I'm ready. And then, I constellated and I was ready, and it felt really good, and it felt wholesome. It felt connected. It felt energetic, and it also physical and powerful for the work that we were doing. And
Yeah.
it is. It didn't feel like it. It is all of that.
Beautiful. Yes, at the beginning, you're like, oh, am I going to be able to do that for others? Because it seems that it requires so much intuition and this and that. But throughout the whole program, you're getting every little aspect by being in the experience, not just by
Hmm.
understanding a methodology or a knowledge, or just by having a theory on it. You are living the experience. So at the end, the information is already within. So when you go
Yeah.
to do that, to do the constellation, it's less work, because it's just becomes simple, because it's part of you already.
Yeah, and something to my particular personality, I like to do things, right? So I'm a very experiential kind of person.
Mhm.
Even the things that I teach, they're massage oriented, so they're like, a lot of doing and touching and feeling. And I would say that something that I loved about your program is that even though we do go into theory, there's a lot of experiential moments. Like, it's heavy on the giving and receiving, which I think is valuable. Not every program or every teacher or every modality of healing always has that much hands-on.
Mhm.
So even though the information you give us is very valuable, it's also concise and it gives us enough time to practice. And I like that. I really appreciate that.
Oh, thank you, Maria. Well, thank you so much for sharing this and um, just to express here or just share with us or with whoever is going to be watching this video, your whole experience throughout the training program. And just for the ones that are listening to it, if you feel that you are ready to dig deeper into your next step of healing. This there is a server here. There is a homes, as I said. I open my arms, my soul to receive always new students who want to take this journey because it is a journey. It is a journey of identifying where I'm at related to that of my ancestors and my and even myself, my own story, and developing that and identifying, recognizing, being aware of it, of course, healing, integrating, liberating, and transcending is the whole process that you get to experience throughout the whole program. And so I'm always welcoming people who feel, ready or willing to explore deeper into their unconsciousness. So thank you, Maria, for sharing. We appreciate and appreciate that so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for facilitating, for teaching, and for spreading light and understanding and compassion. Appreciate. And I hope to
Oh,
continue learning with you.
yes, definitely. We are also soon, we will be, or I will be training teachers. And I know you have that in your heart. That's one of your calls. So, yeah, the idea is that eventually we can have the same people who graduated teaching for me so I can bring new modules and new information for the graduates. And thank you so much. So, we're going to leave this interview here, this sharing here. And I'm going to leave also the website, systemichealinginstitute.com, for the ones who might be interested in knowing more about the program, the modules, what they are about, the dates, the price, and all of it is in there. So you are welcome to go visit our website and to reach out to me if you have any other questions or if you feel ready to just jump into it.
Thank you so much, Maya.
Thank you so much, Maria. I love you.
I love you too.
Yes, thank you so much. I'll see you soon, hopefully, Maria, because I know you are gonna be part of our directory and part of our institute. So I'm very glad and thank you for sharing again. So
Yeah, thank you so
everybody,
much.
thank you for listening, and we hope that this information can somehow be an inspiration for you to take the next step and to plant a new seed to create a different reality in your life. Thank you so much.
Thank you.